Good evening, this is ABC News Sunday. I'm Alison Costello. There are fears of a gap in Tasmania's coronavirus defences, with truck drivers raising an issue with the testing regime for essential travellers. State government advice says freight operators have to be tested on arrival in Tasmania, but some drivers say they're being given different directions. Alison Branley reports.
In the early hours, trucks roll onto Tasmania's freight ships, heading to Victoria. The outbreak there means it's important drivers get a COVID test when they return to Tasmania, even if they don't have symptoms.
Some of our drivers have indicated to us that they would prefer to get tested just to have that peace of mind that they're not transmitting it in the first instance amongst their family, and secondly within their working community and then into the broader community.
The government's official advice says freight and logistics operators need to be tested on arrival. But the union says its members are receiving conflicting advice and are being told they're not eligible for a free COVID test at drive-through clinics if they're asymptomatic.
It would make perfect sense to us that if any driver was returning to Tasmania, that any testing would be made available free of charge.
Tasmania is one of the few states not covering the cost for truckies without symptoms at its clinics.
The only place they can get a free test, a private pathology clinic, like this one here. And then it's Medicare which picks up the bill. The ABC reported earlier in the week that the Peak Group for private labs, Pathology Australia, has donated $200,000 to the Tasmanian Liberals since 2011.
But the state government maintains the tests are covered and that it's signed up to the national agreement on the issue.
We are in fact ensuring that there are tests that can be undertaken by transport workers for free in any of our clinics, and if there's been any misunderstanding on that between public health and the freight industry, obviously we'll be seeking to work with the Transport Workers Union and make that point very, very clear.
However, Public Pathology Australia says its members haven't been doing any tests for asymptomatic truck drivers at the state government's own lab at Royal Hobart Hospital.
We want to make sure that everybody who is symptomatic or otherwise meets the criteria for COVID testing is tested.
The state government also says there's been regular testing for drivers on board the Spirit of Tasmania. But the Spirit isn't Tasmania's only freight carrier. There's also Sea Road at Devonport and a large toll ship at Burnie, where freight drivers are reporting difficulties. Unions also want drivers to be treated like health workers and have the results expedited, rather than waiting days for the all clear.
We've got drivers that have got to take days off to self-isolate if they're presenting for an asymptomatic test. That would make life very difficult.
Wanting to eliminate a potential weakness in Tasmania's COVID armour. Alison Branley, ABC News.